Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.
Hi, it's Kerry Lutz. I recently decided to move my retirement account into physical precious metals to hedge against the coming times. If you want to move an existing retirement account into physical precious metals that you can hold in your hand, tax-free, there's no company that can do it more quickly and efficiently than Regal Assets. It took them just 24 hours to open my new IRA account, and all I had to do was fill out one simple form. The best part is that Regal Assets does all the work for you. They cover the setup and administrative costs for 2013. If you're interested in making the same move I did, call 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620. That's 855-678-6620, or visit them at regalassets.com. You'll be glad you did, and tell them Kerry sent you. You are listening to the FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com. I'm Kerry Lutz on 1230 WBZT. Well, the shutdown is no more, if it ever was, which is a matter of conjecture. The default happened a long time ago. It's happened multiple times throughout history. And you'd think there'd be a celebratory mood on Wall Street. However, gold is up $37 the ounce. The Dow, well, what's the Dow Jones doing? It's down almost 70 points. And you're familiar, no doubt, with my next guest, David Gurwitz of Charles Nenner and Company Research. They are spot-on cycle investors. Apple at 700, the Dow, so many calls, can't even name them. David, how you doing?
Great, Kerry. How you doing? Good to hear your voice, as always.
Yeah, so gold is up $37 the ounce today.
Right.
I didn't even mention silver. It's only up 40 cents.
Right.
Getting close to $22, and you're convinced just to bounce, huh?
Yeah, let me read you what we just sent to our clients, by the way, as we always say it. Anyone listening, write to the site, say that you heard David chatting with Kerry, and you get a free look for about a month of our newsletter, which goes out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday we send out a lot of charts.
Oh, that's so nice. We didn't even ask for that.
Because when I met Charles, it took me 3 months to figure out what he was doing. Now I edit it, so it only take you a month to figure out what's going on.
You know what it's like. I took flying lessons for a while. The first time I got on the radio, I'm listening to the tower, and I swear that guy was talking Chinese. Runway 27 left. I didn't know what he was talking about. And so I studied the manual and I studied the books. And then the next time it was kind of like he was speaking French. And I picked up maybe a third of it. Yeah. And then 4 or 5 times later, it was like I was right in there. I was getting tower. I was with air traffic. And then, after about 10 times up there, I really understood what he was saying. So when you say that you need a few months to really pick up on it, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. Also, I'll tell you something. We don't manage money, and we're not brokers. So we only sell research. We have a very unique model. So we want to train people who are used to listening to the media to think differently, because the media means nothing. And the information coming out, according to us, anyway, it means nothing.
According to us, too. We're all about that. They mean nothing.
It's based on repeating patterns, right? So it doesn't matter what the letters are, which I'm going to talk about in a second. We talk about A, but we wind up hitting everything in 12 minutes because that's how we think. So let me read you what we sent about gold today. We usually send Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but today I called Charles up and said, I know people are going to ask me, but I said, yeah, no problem. We're looking for a gold low the end of November. So the move's only a bounce. It's a short-term buy signal only on a close above 1330. Now it's like around 1314 at the time we sent it, maybe now 1318. It's still on a sell signal, gold. While it's possible the low came early, cycles, which I'll explain in a second, are still down. Gold can retest the lows around 1200. Woo! fundamentally, I love that word because we think cycles are the most fundamental, but fundamentally, according to what people think are fundamental, gold has no reason to go up. Now, why? There's no inflation, and the Fed buying a treasury is taking away liquidity. Recall that we called the top in gold around 1900 over a year and a half ago. An invisible ink, I go, hint, maybe we know what we're talking about. Thank you. Okay? So that's the gold story in a minute, right? According to us. Now, maybe we're wrong, and maybe it's going to start going up to 2,000, which we think it's going to get, but not next week, next month, next year, next 2 years, next 3 years. It's really going to be a bunch of, according to us, moves. You catch it, you buy, it goes up 100, 150 points, maybe. You get out, it comes back down again, you buy it. It's something that will frustrate people who had 8 years or 9 years of up, that now it's not going to be moving. We've obviously seen some major down moves in the last year and a half that were very painful to longer-term gold investors, because that's what the gold people tend to be, as opposed to stocks. They see, they go in and out a little more, and bonds is another story we'll talk about in a second. But that's kind of, in essence, the gold story. Is a better low the end of November, so that if someone wants to play now, they should really wait. And like you said to me before we went on, maybe I should sell short here. We don't recommend that, but it's not a bad strategy given the confluence of what we see of the different indicators.
Right. So what you see it go into 2000 again eventually?
Yeah, but years from now, not next week, not next month. It's now the end of 2013. What he was saying to me this morning is like you're talking 2-3 years out until it really begins its move strong, because that's kind of when inflation's going to hit. Let me switch to 4 other categories right now, all in 2 minutes. We'll do the fast break drill.
Sure thing.
Because, like corn, right, which is a good thing to buy for a bounce soon, and then it's actually going to be down for a while, which is a great short. So it's a bounce to January soon, then a short down to September, then it's up for a couple of years. That's corn, okay? EEM, I'd start buying now, right? China, the low hit, we've been calling this for a while. You've been looking at the research, the Hang Seng, the middle of June.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good to go. Bonds is nothing. Apple should be okay until June of next year, then hit a wall, but basically going back up in 2 or 3 years. Remember, we sent this out about a month ago, back into 700 plus. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Big picture. Dollar crashes starting next year. He really likes the Aussie. He called the Aussie, you saw it, from 91 up. Then we got out, went back in. It's going to hit a little bit of a wall now, but it's beginning 2014. He thinks it's going to go back to the high again of 110. Now, here he called the Aussie and the Canadian when they were both 68 cents to the dollar. He called them to par. This is years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when Larry Bird, averaged 30, although now he's only averaging 23. Will they ever score 30 again? That's a different game because guys lose their ability over time. Charles doesn't lose his ability. And the reality is the nature of our business, predicting now based on repeating patterns from the past, people forget the past, as we know.
Oh, yeah.
And that's part of the problem, according to us, because the past, if seen in repeating pattern analysis, which is what we do, almost invariably predicts the present and the future. And it's just something, again, I recommend your clients to just write to the site, watch it, watch the site, the videos I explained on Bloomberg 5 years ago, the whole system. We're right most of the time, not always. No system's right all the time. But that's kind of the picture. So that's why even today with the news, I got 11 calls this morning from different media. Do you want to comment? And I said, I want to comment, but not on the 37 points up. I want to comment on that we called at the top of 1900. Why is that less of news than you got to bounce for one day? Because that's the problem. The media has to.
Yeah, well, short attention span,
Yeah, short attention span. That's true.
Internet. What about oil and nat gas?
Oil, good. Nat gas is going to go back to the high $1.70, $1.80, right, which is something he called once before. And it's going to go back there again, not yet. It's going to take some time, but that's it. Crude, he called, right, remember he called it to $1.17 recently?
Yeah, sure.
And let me take my notes.
So we're at like 100 now, 101, something like that?
Yeah, it's better monthly, but not really till next year to go long. Only trades.
Mm-hmm.
The economy's going to be stronger in the next quarter, not this one, as he's been saying for a while. But there's really nothing going on crude till the middle of 2014. And that's kind of where nat gas will also bottom around then. It's going to take a while to break down, but it will break down. That's why, according to us, if you do 15, 20, 25 trades a whole year across all the categories, stocks, bonds, commodities, and currencies, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't think that way. Like the Aussie. Everyone says to me sometimes, I don't know currencies. And I always say to them, oh, does that assume you know stocks? Yeah. Whatever you think you know, we think, okay, maybe, but why not just assume our system knows, and whatever is staying strong, go that way, and who cares if FXA is the Aussie for ETF?
You know what that reminds me of, David? That story, the guy's at the casino with his wife, and she's playing blackjack, and, she loses a few $100s, and he's all bent out of shape. How could you do that? This is terrible. And she goes, what are you so upset about me losing a few $100 for? You lost $5,000. And he says, yeah, but I knew what I was doing.
Right. Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's what...
We admit we don't know what we're doing, but at least
yeah.
we stumble better. I guess that's the right way to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the stocks. Let's talk about stocks. I know nobody cares about it, but let's talk about stocks for a second, because you're going to ask me anyway. So stocks, we had this target. Again, it's sometimes a rolling target. It reaches a certain level, it shows up. In the 1740s, we're kind of 1% below there. We're making a top. And like in a few weeks, we could get a very interesting down move.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Even though everything's fine, peace has been restored, life is back to normal, the government's back open.
It's not Christmas yet, I'm sorry.
Everything is great.
No, we're going to have a down move. Then we're going to come back up next year, kind of be strong. We won't reach these levels again. What I guess he's saying is we've reached the top, but it's going to take you a year to realize this was the top, because it's not a precipitous move down. So the risk-reward isn't great to be long. And that's kind of a mindset. I don't know how everybody who listens to you and everybody out there has a different risk tolerance, trading ability, economic viewpoint. So we just tell you what we see. We're like, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, and there's land over there. You want to go there? You want to go swimming elsewhere? That's why we don't have that same pressure other people do, because we're not putting assets at risk. Our attitude is tell you what the risk is, and you decide. But basically, this is kind of, I wouldn't be long too many stocks. We're at a real top. We're going to maybe grind a little higher, but it's not worth the risk. And then when we move down, do people go short? It could be. And then afterwards, it'll go down. I don't know. It could be a 10% move. Could be more. And then everyone will say, oh, this is it. Then it's going to bounce back up into next year, and that's kind of the top. And that's where the dollar tops. We were talking about that before. To be replaced, I guess the Aussie will go. The euro has been surprising to people. Everyone wanted to short it. Charles, the first time he got out of the euro, since I remember, when it was at $1.51 3 months before the first Greek crisis. And everybody said, why are you getting out? He goes, I don't know, cycle is topping. And then 3 months later, the first Greek crisis, and went to $1.22, then $1.18. And then since then, it's $1.30 something. And a year ago, everybody said it's ugly. Europe has surprisingly been stronger than everybody thought. Why? Look, China. Let's go to China. China is, EEM is going to be pretty good. And he called it a while ago, stay out. And then 4 months ago, he said the bottom is in the summer. 3 months ago, and it's been the summer. So that's also going to have a decent run.
Right.
Bonds is nothing, by the way. Bonds, long-term down, as we've been saying, because the last 30 years long-term up. So the next 28 down, but not yet.
All right. Well, interesting times ahead, that's for sure, as the Chinese say. And just tell us where we go get that free trial subscription there, David.
www.charlesnenner.com, and write in and say you heard David and Kerry having too much fun, so maybe you're doing something right. And then we'll send you for a month trial, and then someone will be in touch to talk about the different subscription levels.
All right. Excellent. And financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Don't forget, we're going to have some tips from Jim Skinner on Obamacare this weekend, what you do, how you maximize your coverage, minimize your out-of-pocket expenses and your premiums. It's something you need to know about. So sign up for the subscription for the newsletter for the financialsurvivalnetwork.com. David, always a pleasure.
Likewise, Kerry, always.
Hey, if you're a coffee connoisseur like me, you need to try an amazing new roaster out of L.A., Tonks Coffee. These guys are fanatical about delivering the best beans in the world. They source directly from the growers, roast it, and ship it to you within 24 hours, so it's the most fresh coffee you've ever tasted. Every 2 weeks, you get a new batch of incredible beans roasted to perfection. If you're hitting a cafe most mornings, this is a much better and more economical way to get great coffee. Tonks is by subscription only, and they're offering you a free sample. Use the URL tonks.org/liberty. That's TONX.org/liberty. Get some for yourself or send it to someone you know who appreciates the finer things. Tonks.org/liberty. Again, TONX.org/liberty.
The Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. Get our complimentary newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. This is the Financial Survival Network.